this February the 24th, 2016. Let the record show that all members are present other than Councilman Sousa, who had previously planned to be out of town. Him not being here, he has left a brief statement he would like read in for the record.
Mayor, that should not be allowed if he's not present. That was controversy the last time he was absent. Council members should not have his comments read if he is not present.
It's up to you. Up to me. I'm the sheriff. Therefore, at the special call meeting, when attendance is read, please read this into the records. On the 22nd, I informed the city via proper channels I would not be available. 24 minutes later, Councilman White changed his request from a workshop to a special call meeting. In no time has anyone informed be of cause or demonstrated an urgency for the welfare of the citizens. Thank you. As you can see, the press has been informed of this email. And since the contents of it is requested to be read into the records, I see no open records or open meeting violation. Having that out of the way, I'd like to make a little brief statement for the benefit of the crowd and our council members. Council members are elected by the citizens to represent them. And in our meetings, basically we follow Robert's Rules of Orders. There are also certain standing rules resolved by the council to follow as well. This process has been put in place to promote courtesy, justice, impartiality, and equality in our decision-making process. Whether we get our way or not, it's a democracy. I ask the same courtesy from this audience. As of this meeting, the public may speak to a motion on the floor with recognition of the mayor no more than once and for no longer than 3 minutes, with as long as the council agrees to that. We've got several people here. I'm sure there will be a lot of duplication in what people wish to speak on. I've got a list of names. I would like to limit that to no more than 10 to proceed with the process that we're running. That will be available for comment after a motion has been made, seconded, and the council has finished their comments. So at this time, first item on the agenda, discussion and action on preliminary resolution to suspend city manager until permanent resolution to be acted on. Councilman White.
Thank you, Mayor. I've not done this hastily. I've lost confidence the last 6 or 8 months in the management style. I think we need, probably really started last budget season. I'll get into more of that in a minute. I'm going to read my resolution and make a motion. I felt compelled to bring this before the council with my feelings and let them decide if they choose not to support me in this motion. I'll do my best to go right on as I have in the past and support the city manager and the council. With that said, the resolution is, according to the charter, resolved that David Rutherford be suspended from his position as city manager under Article 8, Section 2 of the charter of the city of Crossville because he is not effective in his management of the city and the council is not confident in his ability to do his job. He's failed to respond to requests of council members. He has refused to make his permanent home in the city and become a part of the community as he promised he would. Therefore, I'd like to ask the council to join me in a motion to adopt this preliminary resolution.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'm going to second that motion for the purpose of discussion.
No motion and a second. Anything further, Councilman Carter? Wyatt, excuse me.
I've got 2 or 3 reasons that I would like to throw out there. I'm not going to sit here all day. This is not to bash David Rutherford. He's done good in a lot of areas, I feel. I've been here 2.5 years. Last budget, we were recommended strongly that we pass a 20% tax increase. I felt at that time that it wasn't necessary, and I voted against it. He convinced the majority of the council to do it. Our audit at year end, and I'm going to try to get into this in the next work session of March meeting. Our audit at the year end ended up several thousand over. I can see one headed down the pipe this year probably. We've already had some discussions on budget here, and they'll start in about a month. So I felt compelled to bring this to the council and let them make this decision. I think we need to pull the reins back a little bit and operate a little more conservative. I asked a week and a half ago on an issue for the city manager to hold the council, talk to the other members, and discuss the necessary continuing work sessions. When I come on, I don't know that we were actually doing work sessions. Our work sessions is turned into 2.5 hours, and the city staff comes in and have to explain their issues, and then they have to do it again in the meeting. So let's just have a 3-hour meeting or a 4-hour meeting. That was my position. I didn't put that on this agenda. I guess Mr. Rutherford went ahead and put this on. When I went into his office and asked him if he had told the other council members, he said no, that one person had said one council member said wasn't interested in this, so therefore that's where it stood. That's not the way this works. This is a council form of government. I guess to put it together, there's no big smoking gun. I've lost a lot of confidence in Mr. Rutherford. All good things have to come to an end. If this council doesn't support me on this, I'll do my best. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Mayor, I have a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to read this. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here. I'm pleased that you're here and taking an interest in your community, and encourage you to continue attending city council meetings. There's a lot of talk going on, and not all of it is true or based on fact. Things are not always the way they appear. Your experience with Mr. Rutherford is not the same experience that I've had as a council person. And if you were sitting in my deer stand, you'd see things from a different perspective. Following are my primary reasons for supporting dismissal of Mr. Rutherford from the position of city manager. Number 1, presentation of our 2015-16 budget was not in a format conducive to streamlined review and passage of a budget. In its initial format, it provided minimal information. The council was led to believe that without a 20% tax increase, our 2015-16 budget would reflect a $1.1 million deficit. As of December 31st, 2015, the general fund had a surplus of $2.4 million. We now have over $12 million in the rainy day fund. The city taxpayers are the ones who are impacted by the budget. We have entrusted our city manager to provide us with accurate budget projections, and I believe that Mr. Rutherford has missed the mark. Number 2, I shared an email communication with Mr. Rutherford whereby he was very disrespectful, insulting, and insubordinate to me personally. I have a copy of another email whereby Mr. Rutherford was insubordinate to another council member as well. Number 3, a successful city manager needs to have excellent interpersonal relationship skills and work in a collaborative fashion with all council members. We have interpersonal relationship problems within our council. My concerns led me to research Mr. Rutherford's previous employment. I discovered local newspaper articles from the communities where Mr. Rutherford was previously employed. These articles reported that Mr. Rutherford was either fired or asked to resign, and one of the common issues cited in these articles was poor interpersonal relationship skills with council members. I have copies of these articles. At this point, I am not convinced that the interpersonal relationship issues between members of our council and Mr. Rutherford can be salvaged. Number 4. Although Mr. Rutherford has the latitude to set his own schedule, he leaves every single Friday at approximately 11 a.m. and returns to his permanent home, which after 2.5 years is still in McMinnville. I expressed my concern that this is not a good example to set for our department heads, as some of them at times work over 40 hours per week as well. However, my concerns were dismissed and not well taken by Mr. Rutherford, and he continues to take off at least a half day and sometimes a whole day every single Friday.
Excuse me 1 second. Last meeting, we passed the rule to speak no longer than 3 minutes without approval of the council to extend it. That's right.
Okay. Okay, I have one more thing to say if the rest of the council would like to hear it.
I don't think those rules have been in effect for 30 days. Is that not right, Will?
They were effective as soon as the meeting ended, so resolutions take effect at the end of the meeting. But you each get 2 chances to talk, so you can always finish it up on your second opportunity.
I'll make a motion to allow Pam to continue.
Very second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Number 5, there have been instances when Mr. Rutherford's philosophy has not lined up with the majority of the council, and he has worked to promote his personal agenda over that of the majority of the council. Example, the majority of the council desired to continue performing codes inspections for the county. Mr. Rutherford disagreed with the majority and was less than helpful in facilitation of this program. The city manager's job is to make recommendations, however, not to interfere with the wishes of the majority of the council. These are not all of my concerns, but these are some of my primary concerns, and I stand firm that Mr. Rutherford should be dismissed from his position as city manager. Thank you.
Good.
Councilman Curley?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I mean, there's a lot of faces here that I don't know, and I hope everybody comes back. Normally our council meetings are pretty empty. One thing I'd like to point out is that I've really had to think about this all week because, you know, I've also been a little disappointed. But in a sense, I've had to reflect back as a council member, what have I done to bring it to the attention of David Rutherford and get the insight of the rest of the council to where we've sat down and give him clear direction of what this council thinks that he needs to do and perform as a city manager. And we have not done that. So it's hard to sit here today to justify voting to terminate him when we have not given him clear direction. And I know there's been an employee that's come under some attack by 2 members of this council that were pushing David Rutherford to terminate. And I got a phone call from David Rutherford asking me for his support. And I asked David Rutherford if he had set this employee down and discussed these issues with him and give him clear direction, and he had not. So that kind of put an end to that matter. Because we all have to give clear direction to our staff if we expect the results that we're looking for. And us as a council, we really haven't done that for Mr. Rutherford. Even though I do agree with what Danny and Pam have said, they've made some very valid points. There have been 2 members of this council that have pushed David Rutherford to be disrespectful to 2 members of this council. And I personally, my first 4 years on this council, I had a city manager that treated me the same way. And I feel like he was pushed by council members to treat me that way. And you know, I like David. He's been good at following through with some council wishes, with working with the chamber, building this relationship with the county. You know, I've pushed for that since 2006. And I know some people would like to think that that's giving them credit over what they've done over the last year, but that's been an ongoing effort since 2006, not since 2014. But as far as this motion on the floor goes, I cannot vote yes to terminate David Rutherford today until we sit down and give him clear direction of what we expect from him.
Sure. Do the council members have anything to add at this moment? If I may, the question has come up as to if this special call meeting is legal because the charter states special call meeting has to be the welfare of the city demands it. I believe it could have been done at a normal meeting date, but I think that actually the importance of this, the city does demand the importance of this discussion. I believe the welfare of the city is in jeopardy. As I've stated in the past, I think our city manager is doing an excellent job on running the many aspects of our city. It's a pretty big operation. I think he operates in an educated and professional manner. The vast majorities that I have heard from are grateful to have Mr. Rutherford as a manager, and now they have reported that they feel proud to say that they work for the city of Crossville. A lot of these employees, I've got petitions of 50 some odd employees that are not afraid to stand up for fear of losing their job to support Mr. Rutherford. I think that's a pretty strong comment. And I was really glad to hear from the various employees that actually called me. His vision and cooperation with the county and the chamber have fostered a positive attitude throughout our whole community. And we're all in this together. It's not just the city. And I just hope that this council, I hope that we can remedy these differences in a civil manner. If there's no other comments from the council, if the council will allow it, I've got a list of some people who would like to make a public comment. I've got a pretty big list, and I'm going to shrink it down to no more than 11, if that's agreeable with everyone.
Well, let me ask you a question, Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
It's obvious that you're supportive of Mr. Rutherford. Mr. Curley has expressed his support of Mr. Rutherford. So we know today, based on if the vote occurs, it's going to be 2-2. It's common sense. If Mr. Rutherford is to stay in this position, which he is, I'm more than willing to work with him if he will treat me equally with the respect and the dignity that the position requires. As a council person, we put a lot of our personal heart into running for election. We do what we feel like from our gut and from our heart is the right thing to do. And we even have our personal finances involved in these elections. They don't come free. And I am more than willing to work with him toward resolving any differences that I have with him. And with that being said, I understand that people want to make their comments in support of Mr. Rutherford, and that's fine if we want to choose to do so. But is it truly necessary, since we know how the vote's going to come out, to sit here for 2 hours and listen to?
Yes, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, it's necessary.
Second time is 3.
Point of order. Point of order.
Excuse me. We'll have a call for question. Call for question. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Call for question in a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Wyatt. Mayor Pro Tem Harris. Harris.
Aye.
Councilmember Curley.
Abstain.
That's an aye.
Abstain.
Oh, abstain, sorry. Mayor Mayberry.
No. So that's a good question. How's that?
Motion fails, now you continue with discussion.
Motion fails, continuing discussion. Thank you very much. The public that will be allowed to speak will speak for no more than 3 minutes, which is in our standing rules. And I've got the list here. The first person on the list would be County Mayor Kenneth Carey.
Thank you for allowing me to address the council today. I'm here because I've had several calls, several visits to my office concerning the local initiative for the community that we have ongoing in partnership with the City of Crossville, Cumberland County, and Chamber of Commerce. I think it's important that everyone here today realize how vitally important that our efforts are to this community. We, the city, the county, and the chamber are working together now better than we have for many years. And I agree with Mr. Curley, this started a long time ago. It didn't start yesterday. But the efforts of all of our works together are beginning to show now. We've developed a pathway of community support from both local government agencies, and we're gaining a lot of traction in Nashville for state support. We've had recent success with the expansion in choline, along with the Apex project, and those are not the result of one person or one industry. We're getting site visits from industrial prospects that we weren't 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. This is a team effort and a community effort, and I urge all of us to work together in order to keep this team together so that we don't risk taking steps backwards, that we keep going forward and further the progress because our community demands it. Thank you very much for allowing me to address you.
Thank you. I come to you today. I'm the Executive Director of the House of Hope, Threads of Hope, and the hat I'm wearing today is that I am the Interim Director of the newly formed Anti-Drug Coalition. For the first time ever, I have seen compatibility between the city and the county and the way that we work together. I first got to know Mr. Rutherford when he invited me to a meeting in August to start the creation of the Drug Coalition. I was very excited to know that our mayors and our city managers and those on the steering committee were going out into communities asking everyday people what they thought our problems were here in Cumberland County. Not just the city, but the entire county. The feedback was phenomenal. They said that drugs were a problem, domestic violence was a problem, the structure of the family was a problem. They found no hope. We're experiencing in our county right now what you call brain drain. That's a term that's used where our finest and best are leaving our county because they cannot find jobs and because the drug issue is so bad here. For the first time, we're all working together to solve this problem. I was so impressed with what the city manager and all the mayors and those on the steering committees did by going out in the community, and they came up after a year long of going to 19 locations, came up with a solution called the Horizon Initiative. And there is a strategic plan that goes along with this. The city manager and the mayor came to the newly formed Anti-Drug Coalition and asked us to join with them. At our last meeting, we created committees so that we can go into the school system at a younger age and help these children be able to see some hope where in their families there is no hope. I can't express to the council how disappointed I was that this evening came about. I hope that you have read what is in the Horizon Initiative. I hope that you understand all the people that are vested in this, and that if we fall short and we stop at this time, if that man is not allowed to continue, that we will fall short on giving our children a future in this county. Drugs are overtaking us. It is crippling our workforce. I've spoken to those in human resources with different agencies, and they've never seen anything like it in the history of their careers. So what we have going on today, I pray and I hope that the city council can do what they said they were going to do today, is stop, regroup, work together, give direction, because it's not just about the city. It is about our entire county and our children. And we're going to lose an entire generation if we do not continue with what we've started here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We started about 4 or 5 years ago, the Visitor Center grant was dead. Me and a couple other council members worked real hard on it. And the city of Crossville put up the matching grant money to get this done. The county owns the Visitor Center. That was about 4.5, 5 years ago. We were working together. So I want to correct that record.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to skip you today because everyone here has had your comments forwarded to them via email. So we've got so many others on here. I would rather go ahead and hit some of the others. Sorry. Nancy Burns.
Hello, I'm Nancy Burns, and I'm a small business owner here in Crossville, and I'm also an instructor at Lone State. And in addition, I was asked to be on the steering committee of Project Horizon. I have been so impressed with the work that has been done, and the fact that Project Horizon has interviewed the high schools, the grammar schools, and I actually saw 2 follow-up meetings this week, which were after hours. Mr. Rutherford and the mayor were there, and Brad from the chamber. And so I think there are a lot of hours being spent outside of normal working hours. I think that needs to be recognized. David Rutherford, what I've seen is he's a great leader, he's a professional, he has a great vision, and he really cares about this community. So even though some of these things have been said, he cares about Crossville, and so do all of we. So we have an involved community, he involved the youth, and I just introduced this to my church Tuesday night to say, let's get on board with this initiative, and I was really disappointed to hear about the hearing. So I think we need to keep moving forward and keep David here.
Liz Denton.
Everyone, and thank you also for this opportunity. I'm a native Crossvillian. I was part of the brain drain, and that I lived away 30 years, although I kept in touch because my family was here. And I've seen the kinds of problems that we've had for, it's been my whole lifetime. So I'm also an organizational psychologist, and was invited to be on the Horizon Initiative Steering Committee. So I don't know most of the council members, and my work on the Horizon Initiative has been primarily with the mayor, with David, and with Brad from the chamber. And I will second what Nancy said about being really impressed with their vision, their leadership, their calm energy, their listening ability, their inclusion of anyone in the community who wants to participate and contribute, their commitment, their strategic plan, and some pretty low ego for elected officials. So I really thank you for the comments made about your willingness to work together to resolve some of these issues. It would be really short-sighted to just do away with the city manager's position, or not do away with his position, but him not be in that position at this really critical time with our entire community initiative. I would, because I've worked in this field for 30 years and working with companies of all sizes, from Fortune 100 to family-owned to startups, entrepreneurial, many different sizes and kinds of companies. The issues that are at issue here, the conflicts, are not that unusual. So I'm really grateful that most of you have said that you're very willing to work together to resolve legitimate issues and try to move forward as a team, as a collective in service to our community. I think in many ways you have a thankless job. I made a joke yesterday that I've repeated before, that anyone who's willing to be involved in an elected small town governance position is either really courageous or fairly stupid. And I said that with respect of not calling anyone stupid, but it does take courage and energy and commitment, and you're probably making, you know, $1 an hour for the work that you do. But we have an opportunity, unlike any in my lifetime here, for positive change and growth and resolving the issues that we have. And the final comment is I would ask that you bring in an outside person. There are many in this room and in this community who have mediated and facilitated and can work with the council individually and as a group to resolve these legitimate issues that's been expressed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for letting me go.
Jerry Wood.
I got my name on the wrong list. If you want to hear some, now.
You gotta get up here in a second. Shirley Hughes.
I'm Shirley Hughes. I'm a business person. Been downtown for 40-something years. And I've been, of course, interested in downtown. And, of course, I know some of the commissioners have been for it, some against it. And I'm keep up with what's going on here. I've been so disappointed about the behavior of you councilors. I really have. Your behavior at the meetings has been terrible. You've been acting like little boys. So I can see why your manager might be a little cross with you sometimes. So I can see and hope that y'all work together, because what I can see out of your manager, he's a great man, and y'all are working, and things are being improved downtown, and we need a downtown. I know some of you don't like to spend money downtown, and I wish you would, because a lot of my customers come from that out of town, and I've carried on that business for 40-some odd years, and I'm thankful for it, and so I am for you all to keep on with your manager, and you all start working together and quit calling each other names. And you don't need to do that. I mean, you all, of course, have different opinions. That's what you're all about, you know. But you don't iron it out at a meeting or council meeting. You know, that's where you vote, okay? Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment, please.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a comment, and thank you for your comments, that this meeting has definitely been a lot more civil, and there's definitely been a lot less name calling, considering that we're minus a council member here today. I don't think, hey, that's a fact. I'm sorry.
No.
second that motion.
And I want to point that out, that you're not going to see the name calling and stuff on David. You guys sit up here and get attacked like we've been attacked. I mean, you wouldn't take it either.
We're gonna do better, Miss Shirley. Call communications. Thank you, sir. Sherry. Michael? Nickel?
Nichols.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to give my time to Denise, but you already got her up here. This is my mom and dad. Hello, how are you? I'm a little emotional to stand up here. I don't even know why. Give me a second. I love this place. I've been here 9 years, and I think Cumberland County people are the best people in the world. I mean that. I know a lot of time and a lot of prayer, and many years have gone before what's happening today. It's not just happening today. It's been planned. But I want you to know this. I had 30 pastors at a unity breakfast at my church. There are 50 men and women of God gathering today in Cumberland County, liking one another, getting along with one another. There's unity happening in our churches like never before. I'm not from here, but I know a whole lot of people who are born and raised here. And I know that's not happened before. We've not had this unity. And I know one thing too. When I sit in an anti-drug coalition meeting and I see the mayors and the city manager and the chief of police and the county sheriff and the chamber of commerce, when I see everyone gather and we're working together in unity, I'm beyond excited. See, I'm the director of Plateau Pregnancy Services, so I get to see the bad of the bad. I'm seeing the drug addicted, I'm seeing the sexual abuse, I'm seeing the physical abuse, I'm seeing drug addicted babies. I'm helping people with diapers, wipes, and formula, but I'm helping people get out of sin, serious sin, and addiction. But what we've got going on now, we got to pull together, because now is the time. Listen, this is not a threat, and I don't want to speak anything out loud, but if we don't get it together now, people, we're not going to. We're going to lose this generation, and if we lose them, we're going to lose Crossville. And we got a lot going on here. There's amazing, gifted people that live here. So if we all pull together a little bit harder, I like what Liz said. Liz, that was a good word. Let's get somebody from the outside to come in and help us learn how to get along. I appreciate everything you do, and like she did say, y'all do have a thankless job. But I pray for you every day I drive by this building. I pray for every one of you in it. And I just want you to know that. God bless you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Rolf?
Good afternoon, Council. It's a tough day, and I could go ahead and repeat probably everything that has been said so far, because I feel the same way. What I wanted to make sure that you understood today is that the real problem is the way we're doing this. If we have a problem with employees, we need to take care of the problems of those employees. But to call a meeting like this out of the blue, to make this public, is the wrong thing to do, not only for the reputation of a rather good city manager, and I understand some of the problems that some of you might have, but you also need to know that that's you and the city manager, because you're going to notice that the general public does see our city manager very different. Our general public sees you as council people very different. When I saw and heard of this meeting, I began to lose faith in you. And I don't want to do that. And I'd like to make sure that you work together in the unity that has been started through the Horizon Initiative and the other great people of this county and this city and the Chamber of Commerce to make our community better, a future. Thank you.
says R.A. Peterson? R.A. Peterson?
Sitting on the back row. Mr. Peterson? You were on the list. He's called for you. He doesn't want you on the
On list. Francis Carson?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I signed my name after Jerry Wood, and I was intending to get up here and say, I agree with everything that Jerry had to say today. I've had a chance to work with Mr. Rutherford in Rotary Club and other types of things outside the City Council. I find him very appreciative of other people's ideas. I find him cooperative, and I find him easy to get along with. And you probably know that I'm not always that way. But I do think, and I chose to live here. We built our house at Todd A. Hills in 1965. My children left due to the brain drain. And I was very sorry about that there weren't opportunities here for them to stay and have my grandchildren here. But at the same time, choosing to live here, I have seen many, many changes. And I can't but believe that our change is better, as everybody has said. With the visioning program, with the Horizon program, with all the positive things that are happening, I think it's wonderful. And I'm very excited about the future of our community. I read to kindergartners at Martin Elementary, and we do the AR testing. And I love them. They are excited about being kindergartners. They're excited about being in school. And I think if it's true that we need to teach them and hold them by the time they get to be third graders, then that's what we need to do. And part of this is an education initiative, making sure that all of our children in Cumberland County have an opportunity to grow and be the best that they can be. And that's our future. And that's what I like about what's happening right now. And I ask you please to reconsider, and as I said, work it out so that we you all can speak as one and support our community and our county, particularly our children and our future. Yes. Thank you.
Last one, Pauline Scher. I'm going to save Mr. Kidwell for another day.
Hello, I'm Pauline Scher. I own property in the city, and I'm also published in the Crossville Chronicle. Lived here for 35 years, which is more than half of my life. And I have worked with Mr. Rutherford on the Horizon project from the beginning. He is very professional. He has a desire to improve Crossville and Cumberland County. He has worked tirelessly. Maybe he has left at Friday at noon, but how many hours he spent at night all over this county with these initiatives? You know, does people realize that? He has given himself to this project, and everybody in this room can vouch for where we're headed. And one of our council members, like, said, there's a lot going on, and we've got to start somewhere to slow it down. Do we want to slow down the progress of Crossville and Cumberland County? What do we want to slow down? Does anybody know?
I can answer that, Bob.
Okay, please do that for this group of people.
Let's slow the spending down so we don't have to have property tax increase here.
But he is an employee, as people have said. You need to work with him. Y'all cannot work with him and give him direction. I work with employees all the time. So I encourage you to go back and work with him and maybe get a mediator if y'all can't figure out how to talk collectively to your employee. I would suggest you might do that. But this community supports what David has done so far. We're not talking about the budget. We're talking about his initiative to help Crossville and Cumberland County. Thank you.
Preliminary resolution to suspend the city manager until a permanent resolution can be enacted. We have a motion and we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Wyatt.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Harris.
No.
Mayor, Councilman Curley,
No.
Mayor Mayberry.
No. The second item on the agenda is irrelevant at this moment in time.
I'd like to pull the third one,
You like to pull the third one at this
Mayor.
time?
I didn't put it on.
Okay.
I agree with that. Thank you, Councilman Watt.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Being adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.